Hey guys, and welcome to another episode on Northwoods Exploration. Today, we are reviewing this beauty of a knife. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. About a week ago, I did an unboxing of this knife, and today, I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so as I said about a week or so ago, I wanted to review this knife, but I wanted to spend some time with it first, and there were several things I want to be up front with you that I changed on this knife right off the bat. First of all, I made this lanyard out of 550 paracord for it. One thing that you've probably noticed from some of the videos is that I make a lanyard for pretty much, well, almost all of my knives. I like lanyards, what can I say? But I made a lanyard for it. That's just a personal preference. The other thing that I changed on this was the position of the pocket clip. So originally this pocket clip was on this side of the knife. And I actually prefer to be able to pull the knife out of my pocket this direction and be able to take it and open it as such. I do not like to take it from the pin side of the knife. I don't want to pull it out like this and then have to flip it around and then open it. Just not my preference. And so those were two changes I made to the knife. Now, overall specs about the knife, the full length of the knife when it is unfolded is 8.25 inches. Also, the blade length is 3.44 inches with the cutting edge itself. With the cutting edge itself right here, actually down to 3 inches. The steel that I went with was the updated steel that Spyderco is using in the Paramilitary 2 these days. That's the CPM S45VN. And I have found this to be an extremely good steel to work with, to cut with. And I'm a blue-collar guy. I use my knives on a daily basis. And I have absolutely loved this steel. As far as the locking mechanism that it uses, it uses a compression lock back here. And yes, I totally love the, well, I'm going to try and flick it in such a small screen here. There we go. I love being able to flick it open. It's really cool. Don't do it around people that aren't knife folks. They'll think it's a switchblade. Yes, there's a joke in that somewhere, but that's for another time. Anyway, yeah, so I have absolutely loved this knife. This has been a great knife. Not a perfect knife, but this is definitely one that's near the top of the list. Now, what you probably want to know is what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. And let's go ahead and start with the good. What did I like? Well, first of all, let's talk about the ergonomics. This knife feels great in my hand. This is a very comfortable knife. I love the fact that I can choke up on the knife here, and you can actually, there are actually grooves right here. I don't use those, but if you needed to bear down on it, you really and truly probably could as such. But this knife has amazing ergonomics, fits very, very well in my hand. I don't have the largest hands in the world, but I do have some pretty meaty hands, and so this is very, very good. Gives me a very good grip, and that leads you to the next thing, that this is a very, very grippy knife. These G10 scales are really, really grippy. I don't feel like if I take this thing out into the woods and my hands are wet or muddy that I'm going to drop this knife. It's going to stay in my hand. It's very, very grippy. Another thing I also like is the compression lock. No longer do my fingers have to get in the way of the blade, as in the case of a liner lock such as this Ontario Wrap Model 1. you know, with the liner lock here. My finger's got to go in the way of the blade. Do I got to do that with the Paramilitary too? Nope. Hit it right here. Closes just fine. And by the way, another thing that I like about this knife is the length of the knife, both the blade as well as the grip. When you compare this knife to several other knives that I like to carry, for example, as I had out a second ago, there is the Ontario Rat Model 1. I also prefer the Spyderco Endura. And I surely can't forget about the knife that I carry while diving, which is basically a rust-proof version of the Spyderco Endura. And yes, it is dirty. I'm sorry. I just got out of Lake Superior diving a few hours ago. Have not had the chance to clean my Pacific Salt 2. But you see the differences. Now I'm going to pull the Pacific Salt 2 out. And this is the Spyderco Tenacious. You see how it's just a little bit shorter. Let's pull the Endura out. I'm also going to pull out the Rat Model 2, or sorry, correction, Rat Model 1. And this is a much smaller blade. This is the K-Bar Dozier, a knife that isn't anywhere near my top knives, but it is a good knife to throw in your pocket if you're going to be wearing some gym shorts or something, running to the grocery store. You know, something of that nature. Something that you want to be very, very light and easy to carry. But I love the size of this knife, and as you can tell, I actually like larger knives on an everyday basis. The grip on this knife, let's see, the handle length is 4.81 inches. Just fine for my grubby paws here. And then, of course, the blade length is 3.44 inches. I like a good 3 to 3.5 inch blade, and I know, like I said, I like to carry the Endura. The Endura, if we lay this side by side, you can tell it has a little bit longer blade. The blade on the Endura 4, I think, is 3.75 inches, whereas the Paramilitary 2 is 3.44 inches. But this is a really, really good length as far as the grip as well as the blade. And let's talk about that blade. As I said, this blade is CPM S45VN. And I'm going to tell you, folks, this blade is a workhorse. Last night, our window AC unit froze up. I had to get the old one out, put in the new one. And the side flaps on the AC unit didn't want to come out. They were broken. What did I do? Well, I had to get some cardboard and some duct tape. Yeah, I know it's redneck. Guess what? It's hot. I don't care if you think it's redneck. Guilty as charged. But I was able to cut through quite a bit of cardboard with this knife, and it just sliced through it like a hot knife through butter. The Paramilitary 2 with this S45VN steel is off the chain, amazing. I absolutely love it. Oh, one honorable mention thing that I really, really like is the fact that the pocket clip is silver here and not like the Endura, black. I need to take some sandpaper to this and take the paint off of it, the finish off of it. Because, yeah, if my blade is silver, I want my pocket clip to follow suit. Sorry, that's just a me thing. But yeah, I love the pocket clip. I didn't like the original positioning, but I like the pocket clip, works well. The steel is great. Great ergonomics, very grippy knife, and I love the overall length. Now, what did I not like about the knife? Well, I've already alluded to one thing, and that is the position of the pocket clip. You'll see me throw up a picture here of this knife, and I'll throw it up in post-production here, and you'll see where the pocket clip originally was. Now you look at the video, and you see where this pocket clip is now. I don't like to have to flip my knife around to be able to use it. I want to pull it out. As I'm pulling out, be able to flip that blade out with my thumb. That's a me thing. You may not agree. That's fine, but this is what I like in my knives. This is the place I like my pocket clips to be positioned. That was one thing I did not like, was the position of the pocket clip. The second thing, and you're going to say, Jeremy, you're being a hypocrite. Okay, guilty as charged a little bit here. But I found that this blade is just a little too big for social situations. Yep, you heard me correctly. This knife is a little too large for social situations. When I'm going to be carrying a knife in a social situation, one knife in particular that I like is the CRKT CEO. Now you look at this and you think, well, you know, the blade length is only a little bit shorter. Yeah, but I mean, look at the size difference. I mean, if I hold this over the other knife, I mean, you're talking about something so small. When I have this folded up, you can't even tell. You can't even tell when it's folded up that that's even a knife. And so that's one thing about this knife. I'll give you an example. We were in Target, and my little girl wanted me to open one of her toys, and I started to pull this out, and then I thought about Target's clientele. No shame or anything on Target's clientele, but I believe their clientele is a little too bougie, if you will, for this knife. And so I didn't pull it out in that instance. I mean, sometimes I will carry my Spyderco Tenacious in my backpack for the sole reason that if I need to hand someone a knife, you know, this is a little bit smaller and it's quite a bit shorter than the PM2. But yeah, so overall length in general, I think in some social situations you may want to carry a different knife. Just a thought, because not everyone enjoys big knives. I mean, if it were up to me, I would carry a fixed blade on my hip every single day. I mean, one of my favorite fixed blades actually isn't that big, but it's made by a company called Buck and Bear, and it's a Damascus steel knife. I don't remember the composition. I'll look it up. Maybe we're going to definitely talk about this knife in later episodes. But I'd love to carry this thing every single day. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful knife. Absolutely beautiful knife. But, you know, I guess having a fixed blade in a leather sheath, you know, oh no! You know, people freak out. So yeah, might be a little too big for some social situations. And the number one thing I do not like about this knife is Spyderco's warranty policy. So on Blade HQ right now, and I'll put a link in the description, there is a set of Micarta handles that I would love to get for this knife. And it's not that the handles aren't grippy enough or that I don't like them. No, nothing like that whatsoever. But I like the look of these Micarta handles. But there's a warning right on the site. It tells you, if you take your knife apart to put these on the PM2, you will void your warranty. And, you know, I'm a guy that works on my own stuff. And if I can't work on it myself, then I'm willing to send it out to someone else. But if I need to work on my knives myself, I want to be able to do it. I want to be able to take it apart. I want to be able to clean it. I want to get into these hard to reach places and clean it out. But with Spyderco's warranty policy, you can't do that. Because if you do take your knife apart, you will void your warranty. And that's really the only thing I dislike about Spyderco's. And then this will be true of any Spyderco that I buy until their policy is changed. Now, I have heard they're a little bit lax on this, where you contact them and say, hey, you know, I had a bearing that is no longer working, or a detent that's not working. They send you some parts. But overall, I really don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk voiding the warranty on this knife because I just want to clean it. And so that really doesn't sit very well with me. But that is Spyderco's policy. And in all honesty, that is really the only reason that I would dislike this knife. I mean, I can get over the pocket clip because I can move the pocket clip. I can get over the idea that it's too big for social situations. Guess what? I'm probably going to carry it anyway. I mean, yeah, I got the CRKT, CEO for that specific reason, but in most situations in my day in and day out life, I'm not around people that look at a knife and be like, oh no, it's a knife. I'm not around people that freak out over blades, so I'm not really worried about that. But what does concern me is the fact that if I decide that I want to take this knife apart, that I want to work on it myself and clean it and make it nice, or even if I want to customize the handles, just the handles, not the mechanics, but the handles in some way, I can't do it because it will void my warranty. I guess in the end, I'm willing to live with that, though, because as you guys know, I am a pretty big fanboy of Spyderco knives. I mean, I only own, I think, 6 or 7 at this point. I know for some of you guys that's a very small amount. That's like saying, well, I got 3 guns in the gun safe. Oh, wow, you got an arsenal, right? No, not really. So, anyway, guys, in conclusion, I think this is a great knife. Overall, this is one of the best knives I think that's in my collection, especially as far as folding knives go. If I want to carry a knife in the woods, I mean, yes, it's still going to be a tough battle between these two knives. Because I love my Ontario Wrap Model 1. It is one of the best knives that I have ever owned. This knife has been bushcrafting with me for several years now, and I absolutely love it. But I'll be honest, the blade, the ergonomics, the locking system, so many things about the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. I just absolutely love it. I absolutely love this knife. I have carried it now for the last probably about week and a half or so, give or take. And I think what this knife does best, what I love about it the most, is that it does everything I need it to do and nothing that I don't. Plain and simple. If I need it to cut cardboard, it cuts cardboard. If I need it to cut through some wood, shave it down, it can do that. If I need to strike a ferrocerium rod, it'll do that. Yeah, by the way, I might grind this down a little bit eventually, but this is actually rigid enough on the back side of the blade that you could strike a ferrocerium rod without any problems whatsoever. So for all you bushcrafters out there, I know that's a big deal. We want our knives to be able, we don't want to have to waste our blades on our ferrocerium rods. Well, hey, this fits the bill, folks. It totally fits the bill. So yeah, this knife does everything I need it to do. It does nothing that I don't. And it really fits the bill across the board, teetotally, in almost every facet that I need. The only thing I might want different is fulfilled in the Paramilitary 3. And I think I'm probably going to get one of those eventually, just so I have the shorter blade. There are some states that are a little picky about that. Luckily, my state, Wisconsin, is not picky about that, which I'm very thankful for. I don't understand all these laws about blade lengths and all that. I mean, I'm not trying to carry a machete or anything, but I think it's stupid that you'd go to jail for a 3.75-inch blade. That's just dumb. But anyway, guys, with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. This is a great knife. I suggest you pick one up, give it a shot. It might not be your thing, but I think this is one of the best knives that I've ever owned, if not the best knife that I've owned for everyday carry. And so, yeah, go online, check it out. I'll have links in the description below to this knife, as well as some other knives that are in my collection that I really love. So, yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up. As always, like, subscribe, and share. Help us grow this channel. And don't forget, come join the adventure, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next episode.